Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is a tutorial on how to get your microphone routed through the software. If you do a podcast like I do, or you'd like to use the built-in mic on your controller in a live setting, this tutorial is for you. I'm going to teach you how to set everything up in Virtual DJ and also get your mic plugged into your controller and also apply an EQ to get a nice level on your mic through the software. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this Virtual DJ tutorial. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this really quick tutorial, I'm going to show you how to set up a microphone and run that mic through your DJ software. In this case, I'm using Virtual DJ, and my controller is the first generation Vestax Spin. Now, one important point is whatever controller that you use, it's very important that the line input, that is where you're plugging your mic into, is able to be routed through the software. A lot of controllers, even some of the more expensive ones, don't route the mic in through the software. They just run it straight in through the front and out the back. In that case, you would not be able to do this. So you've got to kind of hunt and do your own research and find out which controllers have that feature of running the mic through the software. My own knowledge, I can name the Vestax Spin first generation and also the other controller that I use, the Pioneer DDJ Ergo K. Both of those controllers are affordable and allow you to route the mic through the software. There are many others out there, but like I said, you've got to do your own research. So let's get into this tutorial. All right, so the first step that you want to do is take your line input and make sure it's plugged into your controller. And I've already got the volume set all the way up on my controller, which is really important because with a lot of these passive microphones, like the one I use, the volume input is quite low. So the first thing I do is to plug it in and then make sure the microphone volume on the controller is turned all the way up. The next step is to launch your DJ software. Like I said, I'm using Virtual DJ 2020. Highly recommended. Next, dive into your settings. And in settings, you're going to have an audio setting. That's to handle your audio card. And here I can select the Vestax Spin as my card. And then here you'll have the outputs. The Vestax Spin has two outputs, one for the master and then one for the headphones. And those have been configured here. The one in particular that we want to pay attention to is the input. And here, because the Spin allows for the mic to be run through the software, we've got the input available right here. And so it's set to mic, but I'm going to change that. I'm going to change that to line in 1, and then I've got the Spin for line in 1, channel 1 and 2, and then we're good to go. So once you've got those settings in place, the next setting we want to pay attention to is how we're going to select the deck to run our microphone through. And the way you do that in Virtual DJ is to dive here in the mapping. And then this is all the MIDI mappings for my controller. Now, I decided to map the auto mix button on my controller because that seemed the most logical one. It's set right in the center. There's just one mic input. And also I can program the button to blink when the microphone is on. That's another really important thing. You want to know when the mic is on and when it's off. That way you don't make a mistake and you're recording or speaking at an important point in the music when there doesn't need to be any vocal coming through the mic. So I've got the, if you look here in settings, so the auto mix button, and then I've mapped it deck 3, line in 1. And if you recall on our audio card settings, I set line in 1. Let's dive back over there and take a look. The input, line in 1, see? So it's gonna be line in 1 here. And then if we dive back over to the mapping, auto mix, deck 3, line in 1. So I'm using the first two decks, deck 1 and deck 2, that's the left and right deck. Deck 3 would be deck C. So I've got a button here on my skin. If I click this, there, I've switched to deck C, or in Virtual DJ jargon, deck 3. And so it's deck 3, line in 1. So whenever I hit the auto mix button, that turns the microphone on. And I've got live mic coming through. And let me go ahead and position my mic so I can speak some audio through that mic and not through this recording mic. Hold on. And then you can watch on the screen, you should see some level coming in when the microphone is turned on. Check, check, 1, 2, 2. Check, check, 1, 2. So you can see the levels jumping in the software, and that will let you know the signal is coming through. Now, another issue I referred to earlier, you want to have the microphone volume all the way up on your controller because of the low level of a passive mic. Another thing you can do, and that I do, to bump up the levels is Virtual DJ is just incredible. So I've got plugins right here. Each of these plugins can be used to affect the mic signal. The same way if you were playing a track through this deck and you were to toggle these effects, you'd affect the music. The same applies to the microphone line input coming in. And so one thing that I taught myself is, so I've got these 3 effects, echo, flanger, reverb, but on the 4th effect, I've got an EQ there. And what this does is it allows you to go in and fine tune the levels of your mic in, which is really important if you're doing radio or handling a crowd in a live setting and you don't want too much bass coming in through your mic. So I've got Atomic's fantastic EQ10. You can download it. I'll provide a link in the description to download. I believe it's free if you're a paid Virtual DJ subscriber. All right, so slight update. The new way to get EQ10 is if you click on settings, and then on the side you'll have all of these options. If you click on extensions here, and then effects, and then search for EQ10, and it should show right up. I've already installed it, so you can see the only option is to uninstall. If you haven't installed it, you'll have a button here that says install, and then you've got EQ10 installed and ready to go. And so I'll right click, here's EQ10, and then we can dive into the settings for EQ10. And you'll see here, I've already got my own custom settings. I went through carefully and just tweaked each of these. It's a 10 band EQ. I tweaked each of these bands to bump the mic level up quite a bit. And so that allows you to get a nice hot level on the mic. You can EQ it to taste. And once you've got that set, you can even save a preset. And I've got this set to refresh, which was my podcast. And so whenever I do the podcast, I can just pull up this preset and have it ready to go. The mic is right where I need it as far as levels, lows, trebles, mids, highs. Everything is balanced as perfectly as I can get it. And that allows you to take a cheaper passive mic and start to get it closer to what a professional microphone that costs so much more would sound like with this fantastic EQ. So there you go. So we've got the EQ set up. The EQ is turned on. I've got my skin to automatically toggle this on when the skin loads. I can do another video if you guys would like. Let me know in the comments and teach you how to do and initialize action to where once you load Virtual DJ and have your controller plugged in, settings are automatically toggled to your preferences and you don't have to go through and click all this stuff every time you open the software. But getting back to this, so we've got the EQ here. Flanger's on. I've got flanger on, but I've also got it mixed to 0%, so that's not going to be affecting the mic signal. The main effect that I use is this echo effect, and I'll give you a test of what this sounds like. Microphone check, check, 1, check, 2, mic check, 1, 2. So you can see it's just incredible what you can do with Virtual DJ. Once you've got everything set up, you've got your mic plugged in, volume turned up, you've got it routed properly using your audio card, you've got the line routed in, and then go ahead and get your mapping going. You can also map it to a key on your keyboard if you'd like. If your controller is limited as far as buttons, you can use a keyboard. Virtual DJ is pretty flexible with how it allows you to map. You can map either using the MIDI buttons on a controller or use the keys on the keyboard. So yeah, so you've got it routed in properly, and then you've got your mapping set to trigger, turn the mic on and off, and then you can go ahead and use that nice EQ10 to dial the mic in and get the levels nice and hot so it sounds nice and even with your music. So that's it. Thanks so much for tuning in. Please let me know in the comments if you need any more details on how I run my mic in. And I will leave links in the description to the EQ as well and the controllers that I use for this. And I highly recommend Virtual DJ. They've got a free version. I believe you have to be a subscriber to get some of these extra features as far as running mics in and mapping different controllers, but it's well worth it. I think for maybe a little bit less, you can just get a specific controller. Like, for instance, if you have this Vestax Spin, you can just pay $100, I think, and then you get to unlock all the features of the Spin. You've got your line in, and you're good to go as far as recording your mic with the software. So this has been another tutorial. Thanks so much, and please like and subscribe, leave a comment, and we will see you in the next one.